All right, welcome back, folks. I told myself I'm not going to do this anymore. Absolutely no more. No more Scalextric classic F1s. I'm not doing it. Just, I'm done. And then, well, this happened. So I'm glad you're here. Let's talk about them. All right, we'll get started with the Lotus 79 Mario Andretti. Yes, an iconic car, no doubt, and I understand why Scalextric chose to put it in the lineup. But you can just tell right away that there's just some things that aren't perfect. And the first thing that might stand out is the height here of Mario. He looks like he's sitting on a couple of New York phone books. He's just a little tall in the saddle. But as with all of this, visually, scale, accuracy, or lack thereof, is it a big deal? That's the question only you can answer for yourself. If it's a big deal and it's a deal breaker, then just pass on the car. But yeah, it's definitely, you can see that. The colors are good. There's two different libraries to this one, Martini and Rossi. The other one's Martini Racing. Just a slight differences, but the body shape seems to be okay. But and the wheels, to me, they could have had a chrome finish, some chrome with in the rings at least for a better effect. But that's just me. I'm nitpicking. It's not that big a deal. Just thought I'd mention it. But the big deal is here. Let's just get right to it. Is the guide location. This is really not ideal for performance of a car, but this is where Scalextric decided it had to go due to restrictions of space up here. And just as a contrast, the Brabham, they managed to get it up here in front of the axle. Of course, there's a little bulge here, which is, as you see here, and then they blacked it out. So Scalextric sometimes can't win for losing because they did this. I've seen people complaining about that the bulge here for the guide takes away from the car and ruins the whole car. Well, I disagree. And if you want the guide up there, Scalextric's going to use their standard guide. They have to do something. So that was their decision. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'm not defending everything they do, but you know, if that's where you want to guide and for performance to run the car, well, you have to make a few concessions, just like here with the bulged areas and everything that we get with for the gears, 2 nozzle gears. Does it bother you? Well, it's never really bothered me. But anyway, that's the story. First here on the Lotus 79. Again, prototype photos. You do your own research, and you'll be able to make the call, yay or nay. And we can't forget about the Brabham, another iconic car in its own right. But this is not the more famous B version with the fan. Okay, Scalextric is making that version, but this one is like the C version without the fan. So just so you know that, doesn't bother me. You can get the other version if you want in the set that they have coming. And as far as the guide goes, we talked about that. Does that bulge bother you? No, I'm just glad that the guide is where it is. This is what they had to do. And looking at the car from top down, the way they blacked it out, it does not bother me within the least. But then again, that's just me. And our driver here, he is a little bit tall in the saddle, not as bad as Mario back there. But again, he is a little on the high side. The rest of the car, the colors and the shape, and the side profile here, if you look at prototype photos, Scalextric's actually done pretty well. I'll throw some numbers up there as I usually do with some dimensions, and they're not bad. Again, not perfect, but not bad. Yes, the bulge is there for the crown gear. Gonna have to get over that. Well, you don't have to, because if you don't like it, just don't buy it. And that really is, at the end of the day, you take a look at these cars, and either they do it for you or they don't. So we know the differences here already. I'm not really optimistic. I'm hoping we can get a good matchup. We'll just see. So I don't want to say anything yet. I don't want to jump the gun. We're going to see how this car performs. So hopefully we can have a pretty good classic matchup from the late 70s right here in 132nd scale. Anyway, there you guys go. As always, you make up your own minds. And if you already have and you've picked up the cars, please, please chime in and let us know your thoughts. So I've taken a few test laps, but rather just showing you them going around the track. That doesn't really hit home as far as the sounds that are going on. So we'll do a little close up here. First of all, the Brabham seems to be fine. No glaring issues. So actually runs pretty smooth out of the box out here. Non-magnet on a surface it was not designed for. Not bad. However, you get to the Lotus here, and it you can definitely tell that could be a pinion, that could be a crown, but there's something going on there that isn't right compared here to the Brabham. So same wheels are the same size. It looks to be the same width. So I'll have to investigate further, but just wanted to let you know this just isn't right. So we're going to break these things apart and try to get to the bottom of it. All right, I think I have this figured out. Just bear with me and hopefully it'll all make sense. Both cars, by the way, have the same 20-tooth crown gear. So they're 9 to 20, 9-tooth pinion, 20-tooth crown with a different kind of plastic. You can see this translucent type plastic. It doesn't seem to be a bad plastic. I'm sure it'll stand up as long as things are meshed right. But I think that's where our issue is. If you notice here, you put this here and there's a lot of side-to-side free play, and that's because Scalextric has not put a 2mm tubing on this 1.5 shaft, and that's what you normally see with these cars depending on the manufacturer. But you would see a sleeve, a 2mm sleeve that would fit inside here, keep the gear centered. But here it goes side to side. Now, because of the design on this car, you can snap this into place, and they have the wheels set right to prevent that side-to-side free play. So in essence, it's shimmed, or the wheels are what's controlling the side-to-side free play. So that's fine. We don't really need a sleeve on the motor. The problem is that, as you can see right here on the body mount post, that this gear, the teeth of this gear, is rubbing just slightly, is rubbing that mount. And especially when you put the screw in and tighten it down, you'll notice this part here is loose, it moves. You tighten it up, and you can just feel right now, I don't know if you can hear that, but you can feel there. You can feel the teeth rubbing against that post. So I'm going to file that post down a little bit so we can have some clearance, and hopefully that will quiet this car down, because the pinion seems to be okay and the mesh seems to be okay. Both of them have the same pinion, so I don't see that as an issue. Now, we'll give that a shot. And just to go to this one, just so that you know, the way this one is laying in there, it's pretty solid, but the back of the crown gear is resting inside the housing here. So the bushings are here, and that's what's setting the free play. There is not enough motor shaft there to have a sleeve on it anyway, but it seems to be okay. And like I said, it's seems to be nice and quiet. I don't have any extended laps on it yet. We'll do some testing, but it certainly sounds a lot better than this design. So just letting you know, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to trim this down, try to make sure we have proper clearance all around, and hopefully we'll be good to go. The rest of the car, as you see, there's your guide, the wires. I bench tested this motor, 20,125 RPM. You know, that's no load, and the other one is 20,075 no load. So very close. Same motor, same numbers, same motor shaft length. So performance-wise, they should be pretty even, especially with some break-in. But there you go, a little close-up of the guide there. Anyhow, let's clean that post up, put these cars back together again, see how they go. While we had this apart, just decided to take care of our driver and remove those phone books we talked about. So the base right there is right here. There's just a little bit of adhesive there. I just popped it away with my finger. The driver was really tight in there, so I just used my pliers and popped them, kind of like pulling the tooth, and got them out of there. And I just put them on the belt sander and just sanded it down a little bit. It's not perfect, but it looks a lot better to me than it did before. So now he's down there a little bit closer to where he should have been. So got rid of the phone book. I'll do the other one now. So hopefully you'll be able to see, and I'll show you an image where I just cut away and sanded right there, just a little bit of material right there where it goes over the post. It was just hitting there. Again, should be a photo there. Hopefully it explains everything. Also, under the magnifier, while I was looking, I did notice that my pinion was starting to split. It was only split on one end. So I took it off and I replaced it here with a slotted pinion. I'll give you a part number for that. Okay, it's time to talk tires really quick, and I mean really quick, because the only option that I have to show you is urethane. But let's get to the stock tires first. If you like the stock rubber, that's great. You use it. Doesn't work very well at all out here on our wood track, so I change them immediately to the urethanes. If you do keep the stock tires, be warned right now, you need to glue them. They do spin on the wheel quite freely. So if you're noticing the car acting a little weird, this is the first thing that I would tell you to check. And this is for both cars, just really loose. Look how loose that is on the wheel. So you're not getting a lot of action traction, man. You're going to have to glue that. Just a little bit of black nail polish, your favorite adhesive. I wouldn't use super glue in case you ever want to change them out, but just a little bit goes a long way. Get those glued on. My choice for out here, 22 16.6 FF, the big boys. They fit these tires really well. I'll just pop this one off. You can see the wheel size. They're both the same in each car, and there we go. Not a bad fit at all. And you'll notice it's a little tighter, so I really can't spin it that easily, but go ahead and glue it anyway, just to make sure. But the Paul gauge urethane is a pretty good fit. Anyway, that's my suggestion. So it's not bad, but you could tell that guide that far back, it's just a little twitchy there in the corners. Could use some more wheel and tire work on the truer, but definitely you can tell just doesn't have, yeah, there's some wheel hop there, but still not a bad car. Not a bad car. Just needs a little bit more work. A little bit more, and we'll get it smoothed out. By comparison, though, just the stability of the car in the corners, the Brabham is by far just is a more stable platform. That guide up front like that, just a lot better lap times. 3.968 was the fast lap for this one. So 4.25 for the other one. There's definitely a difference here. The other Lotuses, that Scalextric has done just for, comparisons. The guide is also right behind the front axle, but not as far as this one. So not optimal by any means, but these, just with the guide a little bit further forward, just a little bit more stable in the corners, smoother. I just think it almost feels like, the driver figure sitting so high and everything, it almost feels like it's rushed to get it out here. I think a little bit more time spent. And they really have to look at these tires. The tires shouldn't spin on the wheels. It really is simple CAD design and mathematics to make sure that the tires you're putting on your wheels fit them. So it's not just Carrera that can't measure a wheel and tire. Scalextric won't be outdone. But anyway, this is the other one just as a comparison with lap times. Haven't really cleaned it up yet, but definitely a difference. Not that it's a bad car. I don't think these are for competition. These for just having some fun, having a few laps. If you want real competition in Formula One, you're going to look to the NSRs, the Scale Autos, and the Polycars. These are just a different breed. Not to say that they can't be fun, and they are fun, and they look cool. And just getting together and having a few laps with them, side by side with your friends, they're perfect for that. A little pricey, I'll grant you that, but they're good for it. Anyway, I hope this report helps some of you out there make your decisions. As always, look forward to your feedback online. And just a real quick closing, just have to say, at the end of the day, I still like these cars. They have their issues. Yeah, they're a little pricey, but I just love the history of them and just the sight of them on the track. I'm just here at my home track having fun, and a little bit of tuning and tweaking. Well, that's just part of the hobby for me. So I like them. And even though I said, nope, no way, I'm not going to do any more, yeah, well, I did it anyway. And also, thanks LEB for sponsoring reviews like this. Think about these dealers that take the time to give back to our hobby. Not all of them do. So thank you, LEB. Really appreciate it. And like I said, look forward to your comments online, guys. Please chime in.